Hey everyone, how's it going today? Today's Monday, February 16th, 2026. A lot of news today. Hey, please like and share. Let's get the word out. And please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. So, got a lot of news today to go over. XRP pumped huge. A lot of news there. My goodness, silver bullion is off, to, 70, about $77 per ounce. Gold is off, trading at about $5,008 an ounce. A lot of news here. The stock market's not open today because of the federal holiday. We got a lot of AI disruption fears and FOMS, key things to watch this week. So INTUIT stock, we got tax season starting here in the U.S. Got your W-2s and 1099s and TurboTax software and so K1 income too stuff. You got to look at that. So the Nasdaq futures, are off fractionally. Dow futures are up about 100 points. 10-year trading at 113-080. Crude oil's up fractionally. Nat gas 3.46. So got a lot of news to go over today. Like and share. Let's get the word out. Had a huge pump that I got, twice in a row now on XRP. XRP, kind of go over it real quick. Not financial advice, make sure you read my risk disclosure. But XRP had a huge pump, had a big dippy dip to approximately 135, if I'm not mistaken, 135, and then pumps to 166, 167. So that's a huge move in the cryptocurrency market. And XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP are 100% downtrend rating on their technical opinion. So now once that transpires, I can kind of get in there and move and shake and then trade because everyone else is, the market's tanking. So I can, look at the volatility with this. And so had some really great trade action this past weekend. So amazing. INTUIT stock, got news on it. Marathon Petroleum, Air Products, and Chemical stock. In the active shares, NVIDIA, Tesla, SanDisk, Apple Computer, Micron Technology, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta Platforms, and Palantir. So these shares, and then DHT is the chart holdings of the day. So that's what I have on bar chart. So again, celebrating an incredible, great weekend. And the topics that people are talking about today that I cover on my channel, we've got incredible news with Bitcoin and future of Bitcoin and global finance. So Bitcoin is being accumulated by governments around the globe. Bitcoin low prices and administrations move here to launch Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs via True Social is a way for the Trump family to pump their own bags and profit from the potential investor frenzy into crypto. Now, strategic reserves, this is an important topic too. You got mentoring a bill in Brazil to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve of up to 1 million cryptocurrency coins. So the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, Brazil is part of BRICS and they're building a Bitcoin reserve. That's why Bitcoin's here to stay. Also, United States, El Salvador, and Pakistan, they're the three leaders in the adoption of Bitcoin standard. So there's a lot of concern also too about economic warnings and the collapse of the US dollar, the Weimar Republic type of scenario, and Bitcoin being of course a digital gold standard. And so, you want to invest in Bitcoin. Again, it's just opinion only. And if you don't do so, people could, possibly be part of the peasant slave class. You'll own nothing and then you're going to like it. So, and there's a lot of news also too about policy changes in legislative shifts. the Czech Republic president signing a law to end Bitcoin capital gains. So, people have more tax incentive to own Bitcoin. So personal political commentary, my goodness, we got the golden age, here starting here with the Trump dynasty. And so this is what's being reported, people are covering such. I own real estate too. Properties here in the state of Florida are cratering, running about 5 minutes. A lot of stocks are tanking also too in the tokenization area, and then also in the artificial intelligence. We'll talk more about that. And, we're looking at stock markets are way overbought. So we could see, 1929 stock market bubble burst. Has the AI bubble burst? Leave comments below and tell me what you think. So, this is a lot of the topics that I'm covering. So, and there's been talk about potential alien disclosure, and then recently President Obama announced, about different alien talks about stuff on alien disclosure with such, and then of course President Obama and the Jeffrey list, talking about the distraction of what's going on with all the different dignitaries and heads of state and government corruption of those that are on the Jeffrey list. And so that, we've got a lot of things going on, geopolitical and socioeconomic stuff, and then, the alien narrative, is part of the artificial intelligence. And then a lot of people are talking about now, Billy, with micro corporation then are creating these computer chips that are going into people's cerebrums and thinking process. So, a lot of this is to be kind of looked at and say, well, where is this from? And is it playing out as far as biblical prophecy is concerned? So this is something to kind of research, and I'm doing my research on. A lot of political politicians and celebrity and royalty is announced on the Jeffrey list here recently, talking about corruption and government and everything. So housing is expensive for people, and there's also a housing and economic collapse. So, delinquency rates for low-income households have surged, huge, and forbearance soon enough, and loan modifications for this and job losses will eventually lead to widespread foreclosures, and this will affect mostly middle-class people. Inflation in daily living is incredible. Been huge increases in the cost of food and food items, and then the food supply in the U.S. has had all kinds of food recalls, and and then looking at the government officials and then this corruption. Usually when governments are in their final throes of their existence, there's hyperinflation. We saw this in Rome when Rome was sacked. So concern about the political corruption is certainly something that needs to be researched. And, you got to get your mind, body, and spirit together and really get your act together. I work out every day, still got to drop about 20 pounds. You can see I'm still overweight. Key financial statistics too. Median household income is approximately $52,000 a year, $1,000 a week. So after taxes, take-home pay is closer to $35,000 to $40,000 a year, leaving about $3,000 a month for all expenses. Here's the thing though, the average household spends about $5,600 per month to create, that's a significant gap. And so it necessitates a double income for housing. households. Debt levels, Americans are carrying record debt. The average household has over $9,000 in credit card debt at 25 to 30% interest. Monthly costs for essentials averaging about $1,900 for housing, $700 for food, and $913 for transportation. Retirement savings, people do not have a lot of retirement savings. So, prioritize debt, getting out of debt, increasing the savings rate, and being realistic and strategic spending is really what is making sense these days. So that's what I have for today. I give thanks, I say this every day, I give thanks for my abundant supply now manifested. I have it now. So thankful for this weekend's huge pump in XRP, got all of that trade. Nice pump, and now it's dipped back down again. Bitcoin's trading, huge pump this morning to just over 70,000. Had a price dippy dip here to about 64,000 recently, and then rallies up from 64,000 to 71,000. So that was epic. I got all of that. Solana off about 4%. And then, of course, XRP again. The Dogecoin's off about 7%. So I got a feeling that March is going to be epic for the altcoins. Right now, the fear and greed index is way over here like this. Got a lot of fear. It was all like 7 or 8 on the fear index for Bitcoin. Now it's going up a bit. So we shall see. Running about 12 minutes, so that's what I have, and so these types of topics are the things that people really want to talk about, and I'm covering on my channel, and it's certainly exciting times. We got wars, rumors of wars, China, Russia, my goodness, second aircraft carrier sent to the Middle East or Persian Gulf or Indian Ocean there, the Ford, and then the Abraham Lincoln. So, we shall see. It's not good. This military industrial complex, countries like 40 billion or $40 trillion nearly in debt, and doesn't have economic resources. Like, what are we doing sending all these economic resources overseas when we can't even solve the housing crisis here in the U.S.? So these are good topics to kind of talk about, and tell me what you think. Is this China scenario with trade and tariffs and everything, is it going to play out? So, check out my book link too. I'll put it in here if you ever wanted to learn Japanese. So AI Japanese language and culture course. You can see the links below. I don't run commercials on my channel, but I recently penned an ebook on AI Japanese language learning course. So that's what I have. Exciting times, people. Bitcoin pumped nice, up a nice trading range there. They're all, people are capitulating and selling off the shares. Again, the stock market's not open today because of the holiday, but do we get a pivot back up today to above 70,000 on Bitcoin? I believe we will see that. Ethereum doing great, huge pump on it, up, less than 2,000 to 1920, and then it pumps to 2,100, so a couple 300-400 point pump on Ethereum. So that's all I have for today, everyone. Exciting times. So again, I give thanks for my abundant supply now manifested. I have it now. So it's John on my news desk and trading desk. Have a super great day, everyone. Thanks.